generous things can be.
And there's more, because right now in-game there is the M5 pass. It's available now for everybody to go ahead and grab. You can see here on the desk as well the beautiful Yuzhong skin. Grab that, the Dragon Shade, and you can also level it up just like last year what we saw with the Beatrix. It's got a Prime version as well. It's called the Cosmic Dragon. So be sure to log into the game and get that pass now.
Exactly, get the pass and accomplish all the activity tasks to reach level 75 for completely free. So get a ton of exclusive rewards and make sure you get your friends into it as well. You know, give them the pass maybe, and then you can grind together, because doing it alone, that ain't any fun, man.
Well, actually, if you are the one who's selling, I'm buying. So the M5 pass, I believe that it has a lot of gifts within, and I think that right now we have to narrow things down. We have to see what is up, what is the next update, and what does it have. Of course, we will see maybe some adjustments to items, some adjustments to heroes, and we will see how will it affect the meta. Will it be crucial or like critical or not?
Here's the latest patch update, 1.8.30. Moskov revamp, exciting, new outplay potential right here. But what really stands out is that Guinevere buff, man. The second skill, the spatial migration, makes it so flexible, so dangerous. And we're seeing this hero just pop up in all these different roles. So I think it's a great addition to the meta. Some people might think it's a bit boring, but I do think that this very aggressive play is great for the whole situation, for the whole esport meta. And along with that, the Flash of the Oasis getting nerfed means it's more balanced. It's still in the meta to be built, but now it's not broken, built as a first or second item. You build it situationally after you've completed your first initial core items.
And actually, like, I don't want to see the same thing gets repeated over and over and over again. But before we get to that point, we see here that we have the group standings. Group A with 4 Miracle, Nightmare, and Falcons, and SMG, where they are right now playing on their home ground. Group B will have Imperio and KPG, LG, which is Lergon, and Umbrella Squad. So which group out of the two would you say it's a death group, Naisu?
Right now, I think Group B, a lot of kind of questions up in the air there. I think a lot of people are going to have their eyes on that group specifically. But also, there could be surprises for Group A, right? How do they handle that? How do they deal with the pressure here for the wild card? And also, taking a look at today's schedule. Day number 1 of the wild card, you can see it. We're kicking it off. SMG versus Nightmare, of course. Followed up, KBG and Imperio. That is a match alone that I cannot wait to see unfold.
And actually, also, I'm looking forward to see that Lil Gun game against Umbrella Squad. But before that, we will have Falcons team going up against 4 Miracle. So today is actually full of, I would say, let's get back to the point where what I was saying, that maybe we will see something different, because today it's an international event, it's an international stage, and there are players from all around the globe. I don't want to see a meta forcing itself today. I don't want to see a meta forcing itself during the whole series. So I want to see the variety, and I want to see how much it's different between each region and another. So do you think that we will see multiple cases or multiple strategies?
I think definitely so. This is what's so exciting, right? There's so many regions out there with a completely different meta than what we're used to seeing in all these previous tournaments. So I think bringing a bit of that, unique flair is something we're all looking forward to. And along with that, hopefully, in future, more regions will start joining us as well in the wildcard series. So we can see, again, that it's not just all these top-tier, quote-unquote, big regions that can make meta gameplay. There's also very unique styles that we're just missing out on.
And also, like, SMG playing on their home ground, as I said, they have the support of their audience. And actually, I wanted to call it the player number 6. So right now, we can see that we have when the Jokers become serious. They are both famous that they are Jokers within the team. They make a really unique atmosphere, and today they will get serious.
What I love about this is Jokers, right? The reason why they're Jokers, these guys are jolly guys, right? We've had the opportunity to talk to them, even at the hotel and everything. But that's the thing, right? Even though they're fun outside of the game, when they get into the game, that's where they have to step up, right? Typically, when you're looking at these guys, these players, especially in the roam role, they have to be able to carry through the game, help the team get to where they need to be so that they can, get the win, basically.
So actually, they are the roamers. So basically, mostly, they are the shout callers as well. But before we head into the game, let's see the rosters, let's see the lineups. We have Miko and Jasmine, Jokester, and like among like, how can I say, wait. Oh, this is the team SMG. So Sasa, Saxon, Smooth, Stormy, and Miko. Sorry, I just like got messed into that like huge amount of like big names. So the Malaysian team is now on the screen, and we can see that you have the main lineup, the lineup that played on in this country, in Malaysia, and they were so near, so close to get that title. So right now, they get a second chance.
They're going to be very hungry to try and find success right here, considering how close they were. That's exactly what's so scary for their opponents today. And you know, speaking of them, we're going to see them later, right? But I think the big problem here for them is also the huge hero pool for Stormy, right? He has a lot of mages in his arsenal. With the current dynamic meta, with all these new heroes popping up, it's going to be very dangerous to see how much flexibility they have in the drafting phase.
And actually also, after talking about Team SMG, I think that Team Nightmare will appear with us in a bit, and this team will actually bring something new to the table, and they are not a new guest to the international stage. And actually, by mentioning the international stage, a fun fact is that SMG team has been already to an M series, an M3. They have performed really good in that M edition, but they get a chance to go to another M if they get the ticket here in Malaysia, and they get the ticket here from the wildcard.
And that's the thing. So if we're talking about the matchup, right, I mean, Team SMG, a lot of people have this certain expectation for them. They went full 7 games back in their MPL, right? They brought it, and they, like you heard, they were basically 1 hit away from securing that championship for them. Now they have to get the second chance here. But across from them, right, Nightmare, this is a team that has been around for, in terms of the esports MLBB scene, this is a while, right? They have been together for quite some time, and I believe this is also the lineup from MSC 2021, if I remember correctly, right? These guys have been playing together, the synergy. Anytime we talk about teams, we talk about their synergy with each other. Nightmare has that, right? They're a reason why they are where they are, but that's where we have to compare it, right? They're up against the first obstacle in front of them is technically a Titan from Malaysia, right? Team SMG, they have their imports, of course, but overall, this team has solidified themselves around that, and it's worked great for them. That's my biggest question, though. Is Nightmare, granted, they have the synergy they have the experience that they have from the years, is it enough to actually go ahead and start this day with, technically it would be an upset, guys, right? I mean, come on, let's be honest. It would be an upset if they are able to beat Team SMG, match number 1 here in Malaysia.
I think everyone loves an upset, but I think the home crowd has an opinion of their own here. We'll have to see, man. I mean, SMG, they are great, but they're also high profile. Everyone has seen what they can do. There's a lot of information on them. So I think Team Nightmare, in a way, has a chance to really surprise them, especially in the first 1 or 2 games, right? Before Team SMG can really get a read on what they like to do, how they want to play. And usually when there's this kind of lack of information here, it all comes down to the roamers, which is why we're highlighting it so much. Who can really get the advantage here, get into position first to start up all the ganks, to try and make sure that their team gets the vision they require to really get an edge in the beginning of the game.
And actually, after speaking a little bit about how will the match go, I'm wondering, will we see an outstanding hero? Will we see, actually, this question, I think the answer is already here. I think that Guinevere will be most picked or like most banned based on like the past period of time. She's played in the mid lane, in the room, and like everywhere, just not in the gold lane yet. Maybe we'll see it in the gold lane.
You never know. It's a wild card.
It is a wild card, so maybe we'll see a wild pick as well. So actually, after seeing that, I remember that there was a time where there was the almighty Fredren. Like, yeah, he just had his moment, like more than he actually, he got so much recognized that at some point he was the most picked and the most banned.
Yep. And are you saying you feel like that might happen with the Guinevere, right? Because if anything, since we took a look at the way that patch has changed things, right? The landscape here, even from recent tournaments internationally, right? We saw just how much she was picked up. And that's what I'm wondering. If there's been enough time for them to basically adjust to that, right? The fact that Guinevere is locked in now quite a bit, do teams have an answer for it, right? For the most part, right? Because even with that small change, the way that the spatial migration works, it's deadly for a lot of these teams that like to play certain ways. So I feel like now you've had, honestly, it's not that much time, right? You have to have an adjustment for that and an answer to that.
And also, I've seen Team SMG and especially Saxa making a lot of, I want to call it Joker picks. I don't know how it's like Joker picks. Because you can, it's also Flicks picks, but in Mina we call it Joker picks.
I see.
So it can work in multiple places. So at some point, I think also at the finals of MPL MY, Saxa managed to get that Benedetta transferred from the XP lane, which was like the natural lane that we see Benedetta being played into the jungle. He takes it into the jungle and he makes an outstanding performance out of it. So I just think that Team SMG will bring up something new to the table. And will we see the hospital meta, Arashi?
The hospital meta. I mean, we'll have to see, man. We're going to go straight into the drafting phase right here. This is the beginning of all the games here. This will make or break the gameplay in the game. Like you mentioned, man, we have to see if the hospital meta does make an appearance and which heroes will be used to try and make that happen. Because with the fact that the Oasis getting changed right here, it's not going to be as simple. And I think a lot more focus can be put into the jungle as well. Because as you mentioned, flex picks can move into the jungle. And with the change towards the retribution, towards the Lord that now does more damage, what you pick and what you use in the jungle becomes even more important.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, get your snacks, fasten your seatbelts, because I welcome you on this marvelous international journey that we will start it right now, actually. We already started it with this amazing first match where Team SMG, the home defenders, are going up against Team Nightmare, who might, just might, give them nightmares tonight. So, we right now see that the draft already started and the Guinevere is already banned alongside with the Matilda. So maybe, yeah, that's an indicator that we might go towards the hospital meta. But on the other side, there is the 1-1 and the Arnold. So far, Naisu, I see that there is no focus on a certain role.
Here's the thing. I'm glad Guinevere's banned out, right? So, because Arashi, you were there, you saw how MPLI went and everything. It was picked up so much. So now this leaves us to that, right? What is going to change here? What is the priority? Especially as we talked about how the supports have changed, even with the flash of Oasis changed, right? What do teams want to lock in first priority-wise? Arashi, you probably have a better answer to this one.
I think we've seen a lot of teams prioritize the gold laners, because in the late game, that's what really matters. And there's a very limited amount right here, especially with SMG banning away the 1-1 and the Bruno as well.
Yep.
It seems like they're trying to get something that's advantageous, but also maybe it's a bit of a fighter-centric kind of draft, because with the emphasis on marksman, usually you want to have tanky heroes that can only be taken down by the marksman. And for Nightmare, they're banning away a lot of these support heroes with the Guinevere, but as MG, they're showing aggression right here, picking the Joy that is no longer as safe as it used to be, now more vulnerable to crowd control. So we'll see if Nightmare go for it, try and go for something that can really shut it down. Maybe a suppression.
Maybe we'll see something different. You never know. Maybe we'll see Menstar coming up. Maybe we'll see Kufra being picked. Even suppression heroes, as you said, maybe we'll see a Franco or a Kaja. So what I've noticed while I was like making my studies about Team SMG is that they don't like to go up against Bruno at all. So it's not that they are adapting or like taking a pick from the enemy. They are not just, look, for me, how can I explain this? There's 3 types of draft for me. There is target ban, and there is the meta ban, and there is what you cannot deal with ban. So I don't think that Team SMG can deal with the Bruno. That's why it is banned for a long time for them. But so far, you'll see that the Fram is joined in so fast alongside with the Benedetta.
Okay, I like the fact that they picked up the Faramis, right? This is a hero that constantly gets picked up just because of the way that you have the Netherrealm now, you can count on that. But I love the fact that we saw the Benedetta, right? First phase from Nightmare for now, which technically, like you mentioned before, like we've seen history-wise, it can be somewhat flex. But let's just go ahead and assume that it's going to go in the XP lane. Great, flashy hero. You can split push as well with it. But that begs the question, what if it does go in the hands of the jungler, right? What if it does go for too easy for Lexi? He likes to opt for these more aggressive assassin-style play style in the jungle. That could work for them here. But the response, Lilia gets picked up as long as the Terizla, as well as the Terizla.
And those are great options here to punish the Faramis pick. We've seen it just rise in popularity, especially in MPLI. But now with the Valentino available, seems like SMG won't go for that. Don't seem that they feel like they're able to deal with it. So they go with the Terizla to really go in for a combo. And then they have this Lilia right now with AoE, technically DPS, a lot of magical damage again and again. So the Netherrealm from Faramis, it's going to be a big weapon for Niightmare, but it also can be something that SMG can take advantage of to really shut them down here.
And also, like, just if, the Valentino was still available for Team Niightmare and they managed to transform this Faramis to the roaming beauty, I think that it has a lot of ultimates on the other side from Team SMG. There is the penalty zone and, like, tons of other ultimates that haven't been even revealed yet. So it is a good choice for them, but I don't know if it's gonna make up or like will it be good in terms of taking damage from Team SMG, because so far the marksman is not up yet, or like the gold laner is not up yet, and they already have a lot of damage. Martis being in from Team Niightmare, and the first phase of drafting is done.
You know what else is a surprise as we wait for the second phase here of bans is Nolan is still open, right? Nolan is a
really?
hero. Yeah, it's a hero that teams love to just go ahead and take that risk. Okay, we see a swap. I don't know if that's actually happening, right?
It's magic.
As we talked about the Vendetta, that's out of the picture right now. We don't know. We'll have to confirm later. But with that being said, now you have the Martis there. I was asking about the jungler matchup, and now if that's the case, then you focus on the utility. You focus on those that objective play style and kind of build around that. We'll see it once again, once we get through this second phase of bans, really how they want to round this out.
I think for Niightmare right now, it's just a great combination. There's a lot of damage built in, and especially with the Netherrealm, a big issue is that in the early game, sometimes you lack damage, you can survive, but you can't really output enough damage to take your opponents down. With the Martis in the picture, that's a whole different story, especially with the resets coming in from the decimation. I think that might be enough to really push SMG away. Unless they get something big, some big teamfight ultimate, they can really deter the whole roster of Niightmare from really fighting and contesting that neutral objective.
Well, do you think that after banning Hilda, do they want to give the jungler a little bit of space?
A little bit of space. I mean, it's possible, especially for the Joy right now, a lot more vulnerable to the Hilda. That is definitely something they're considering. Along with the mid lane, high wave clear presence here with the Lilia, there's a lot of chance for SMG to go with that 3-mana roam strategy, and then from there focus on to the EXP and gold lane.
Yeah, but Naiso, after we see that the drafting phase is totally finished, I can tell that Team Nightmares are mostly afraid of the rumor, because they have Matilda in the ban, Angela alongside with the Minotaur, and also the Kufra. So from Team Nightmare, I don't know if that's a plan to just like take some options from Team SMG's rumor or not, or will it be just focusing on some picks that will stop them or like will make them stumble during the game? After taking that suppression hero out, I don't know what SMG is planning to do.
Ooh, they go for the Cho right here, though. That's just exactly why we were talking about it earlier. There seems to be a roamer showdown, and it's going to be a Terizla in the hands of Jasmine, trying to bring the spice here. Big AoE combos from Niightmare against the pickoff, the damage, the burst coming in from SMG.
This is like the OG tank, basically. Tigreal is I feel like at some point when everybody picked up MLBB, they played Tigreal. That's what I would assume, right? And with that, it'll be interesting to see if it actually works that way, if it actually works out here. Once again, I was also wondering, right, do they actually have that Khalid in place? It was not the Vendetta. We'll find out once we load in. But interesting lineup here, guys, and it looks like it is.
Yeah, after seeing that both teams have already made it up and already like put up their final touches, let's say, and having all this perfect draft. I don't know who to lean towards, but now heading into the land of dawn, we will witness the first game and the first match in the M5 wildcard here in Malaysia, in SMG's hometown. We will see that Team Nightmare is up to the test, and Team Nightmare are now heading to the jungle.
Oof. They're in the hot seat for sure, and early on you can see SMG here just pressuring away the members of Nightmare as much as possible. The Tigreal, man, this is why it gets so confusing. The Joy is now weaker to crowd control, and with the Tigreal changes a few patches ago, that crowd control comes out more suddenly compared to usual. So that is something that Team SMG needs to be very careful about.
Yeah, they want to bring up surprises, and even since the beginning, you have just said it, and also Nice said it, he's an OG tank. He has been here for a while, have been here since the beginning. Tigreal being big by Team Nightmare, I think he's gonna add a lot to this match, and there will be a massacre happening between both teams, Team SMG and Team Nightmares.
Well, we have to see, man, for SMG right here, the fact that Miko is on the Cho means that he's going to be so slippery, so difficult to catch. He's going with the agility and the wilderness blessing, so he's going to be as tanky as possible, but he wants that mobility to maybe bait out some spells, some engagements from Niightmare Esports. Maybe that will be a window for Sasa on that Joy to just come in and deal a big amount of damage.
And right now, I think this is the term that we can use and say it is the calm before the storm. It is the silence before the storm, because so far we are 2 minutes in, and there's not even a try to invade, to go inside the enemy's jungle, or to do anything aggressive against the opponents generally. So we are 5 seconds away from the next turtle. Who's going to take it? We're going to see.
He's going to rely a bit on the EXP matchup as well, but you can see no one is level 4, and this Khalid is just struggling a bit slightly. He has regen, but the damage reduction on the second spell here is just not as strong as it used to be, so he needs to be a bit more careful.
Okay, now that the turtle's up, first one of the game.
Ooh.
Looks like it's going to be a full force. Jasmine going to go in. That might be the focus. Penalty zone to jump in, finds 2. Too easy for Lexi. Will be able to get the turtle. Still going to be fighting for it. And they back off. No bodies dropping, but objective secured for Niightmare Esports.
Everyone's still safe, but the turtle goes for the favor of Team Nightmares. And even with having that turtle, there's no much to add to Team Nightmare.
That's crazy. Jasmine able to just push multiple people away from the turtle. That is something that Tigreal can do really well. And I think Team SMG were just caught slightly off guard there. Miko went in for a play as well, but with a Netherrealm, just wasn't a chance. So they're playing it very safely here, knowing that later on, Sasa can be a lot more impactful compared to too easy for Lexi on the Martis in the mid to late stages of the game.
Yeah, we want to see some kills, we want to see some action happening in the Land of Dawn, because so far it's just like so peaceful in the Land of Dawn.
Oh, this could be it right here, Yasu. First blood from the hands of Stormy. You can hear the crowd go wild for it. First blood in the hands of Team SMG.
Team SMG gets their first blood, and now they are sending a hostile message. Look at Miko is going back.
Smooth gonna jump in once again with the penalty zone. So Soul should be fine, even with that revenge strike, and they go ahead and disengage for now.
Look at how aggressive Jack is on the Khalid, man. Just going in with the Raging Sandstorms. That's a big engage tool, and for now, he can't afford to do so, but later on, he needs to be a bit more conservative. Whoever lands the bigger ultimate between Jack and Smooth in the EXP lane, that can really swing the tides of the battle. For now, even though Niightmare Esports technically has a lead, Team SMG are the ones with a bit more of a gold lead, so their farming patterns, for sure, is a bit better compared to Niightmare Esports.
And right now, I can see that there is like a little bit of poking each other. They are trying to get some of that HP from the enemy's team, and also like to break some shields from the enemy's team. So Team SMG so far is a little bit peaceful, as I told you. Even though they are now defenders, I think they have to be the most aggressive players. And so far, they haven't shown their teeth yet. They haven't shown Team Nightmare what happened in the finals and how were they so aggressive.
I think this is a big problem for Team SMG. If they mess up here, the resets, the decimations is just such a big risk. For Niightmare Esports, it's not exactly the same kind of deal, but look at Miko.
Miko's gonna go ahead and zone them out the best he can. You also have now, still, Turtle's gonna reset. So, interesting that they went with that. Jack is just around the corner. The biggest thing Team SMG has to look out for is implosion with the Raging Sandstorm combination. That's Jasmine flickering in with it. Still going to be going for it now. Turtle for the taking. Jack finds Saksa. Flicker penalty zone comes through. Too easy, gets the turtle, and they have to battle it out now. Smooth in trouble. Multiple bodies chasing him, and he will go down. It's Jasmine again.
He's down. Everyone is now down. Team Nightmare gets the turtle, and they also get the fight.
Oh, Miko, he's in trouble here. Gonna get dragged, and Jasmine gets another kill on this Tigreal.
That is just crowd control advantage at its best You would think that Jasmine on the Tigreal is going to be a bit too telegraphed, too easy to avoid. But right there, he just gets to play onto Sasa. And of course, Jack with a great follow-up. The fact that they have 2 Purifiers also means that they have a lot more ways to really bait out spells from Team SMG and turn it around. The Netherrealm as well, right there, really just messes everything up for Team SMG.
Yeah,
if they were able to get the Martis, then that fight could have went in a better direction for them.
And maybe if you looked at the statistics, Team SMG, every time they lose the early game, is so hard for them to come back again. So Team Nightmare now have the advantage of the kills, but there's no so much difference in terms of the gold, and everything again goes back and scrolls back to the safe zone. There's nothing happening in the Land of Dawn right now except for people waiting.
Nico gonna find his target. It's Jasmine. Has the Netherrealm there, but it's multiple bodies. Here comes Candy with a blazing duet. Gonna force them back a little bit more. No one goes down. Nightmare Esports saves Jasmine.
That's going to be the way of the Dragons burnt out. So now there's a chance for Nightmare Esports to really turn it around. But look at the damage of the torn apart memory. That long range is something they need to be a bit more concerned about, especially later on when Sasa has some more items to work with.
There's not a certain strategy that's happening right now. No one is going like for, I would say, protect the king. And the king here is the marksman. No one is focusing on the gold lane, neither the XP lane, neither somewhere in the map. But they are just focusing on the neutral objectives and getting the best use out of them.
Funny enough, if you look at the turret situation here, it's even until Sasa now takes one down. But look at Soso.
They're trying to get it out. Sasa with a clean torn apart memory, able to get the kill there. And that's exactly what they need. Turtle now up, 2 in the hands of Nightmare Esports. Team SMG wants to fight this. Miko gonna get away the Dragon. Jack goes in the Raging Sandstorm. They find Miko. He falls. Ignore the Turtle. They go. Smooth goes in. Finds too easy for Lexi. And now they should be able to go ahead and get this Turtle.
Man, that's a 2-4-1, but the turret falling down in the bottom side. And the Turtle isn't guaranteed secure just yet. There seems to be a bit of miscommunication between Jasmine and Jack. With how much your opponents move with the Sacred Hammer right there, that Raging Sandstorm might just miss. And that could be catastrophic for the side of Nightmare Esports.
Whenever you do mistakes, you have to deal with the consequences. And right now, Team Nightmare are dealing with the consequences of like, the miscommunication that's happening within the team. So far, they do have a turret. So far, they are ahead in kills, but they are not taking the best use out of it. So it is not...
Miko, once again, gonna find Jack. Can't really do much there. And then Flex as well. They grab another kill.
Easy kill for Team SMG right here, but Wind of Nature, watched by Sasa, knowing how important that physical damage immunity is. Now with the Sasa as well, has the Holy Crystal, so Joy damage is going to be ramping up pretty nicely for them. This is where Nightmare Esports needs to be a bit more careful, because now Team SMG, they can absolutely strike back, and they might get one more turret in the bottom side.
It doesn't feel like it's the way of Dragon more than it is the way of Miko. So far, Miko is dealing a lot, or like making a lot of fancy ultimates, but right here, it is so nasty. They just took out, they just stole Faramis' ultimate. They just took it away from him even before the Lord comes, even before any action happens. Team SMG is just using their momentum and getting more and more and deeper into the game.
Miko knows, once again, Jasmine going to spot him out. So we'll be able to hold him at bay. But the job here for Team SMG is that tier 1 turret. They get it down. They're 30 seconds away from the first Lord.
And they are taking whatever they want. It's like they are walking in a garden, and whatever they see, whatever they want, Team SMG gets.
Looking at the items right here, we've already mentioned it a lot in the previous times we've been on duty here, but the Clock of Destiny just isn't as good as an item anymore. Would Enchanted Talisman go? Whoa, Jack!
No, Jack's gonna heal back up the best he can. The Saksa has the damage, takes him out in the 1v1. Now will also take the purple from the hands of Nightmare. Right now, Team SMG is in full snowball mode.
Saxa, Sassy, you can call them like sassy players, because right now they are just showing off. Right now they are just melting enemies down. They are melting Team Nightmare down.
Gonna be another one. Implosion gonna be used with the Blazing Duet. That's the combo they're looking for. They take out Miko, but can they survive the fight? Stormy gets a kill, and they're on the run. Body after body's gonna fall from Nightmare. Team SMG answers back.
It's a big combo, but it isn't as clean as it needed it to be. And Sasa will just basic attacking again and again, outputting an insane amount of damage just like that with the Lord. A 5k gold lead, and you can really see the disparity in experience here. Niightmare Esports look lost, and they don't really see a way, at least an easy way, to really come back in this game. Let's take a look at the instant replay by Kadia, where Jasmine lands a 3-man implosion. The Vision Duet comes in as well as the Mortar Coil. But afterwards, when they went with the Netherrealm, Sasa is just all the way in the back. And look at that damage, dude. 4 hits, and anyone in the back line, anyone that's not a tank, just gets deleted.
Yeah, that's when the goal difference speaks. That when the strength actually speaks. And right now, Team Nightmare are buried by the mistakes they have done throughout the early game. Right now, they are in the defensive mode. Right now, they are behind their inhibitor turret.
Right now, they got to deal with this Lord. Is only the first one. Should be able to make quick work of it, as Nightmare does. But are they going to lose anything more? Saksa going to jump in behind enemy lines. Will back off, though. So right now, Nightmare holds on to their turrets for now.
They didn't really use the waves as efficiently as they could right there. Fortunately for them, Nightmare were able to just defend. They have the chance to use the Netherrealm there to try and prevent a tower dive situation. So Team SMG do the right thing, played a bit safely for now, but here's a problem for Nightmare now. They have to deal with so much damage. There's a Joy, a Lilia, and a Brody. So unless they get all these core members, core damage dealers from the side of SMG, it's going to be very difficult for them to come out on top in a fight.
Still going for it. Another clean kill. Stormy does it again. There's the kick with the way of the dragon, the way of the Miko. Jasmine the target. He falls in the jungle. And Team SMG is relentless right now.
Right now, Team SMG cannot do any, or like Team Nightmare cannot do anything against the force of nature. Right now, Team SMG have a huge ton amount of damage that Team Nightmare cannot take in. They are just getting hit it one time after another.
Gonna lose their base turret here in the mid and the bottom. Nightmare hold on to the top right now. Team SMG knows the lead they have. It's nearly 9,000 gold, and it's showing. Miko gonna get dragged, still has the immortality though. Taking a couple shots, he won't go down. And right now, we're 14 seconds away from the Lord.
Niightmare Esports, man, they're trying to defend, but with too easy for Lexi on a Martis, and yet being 0, 2, and 4, he's just way too behind right here to really do anything meaningful. The Team SMG, they will most likely bait Niightmare Esports out of their base for a fight. If they fall for a combo in the middle of the jungle where the AoE of Stormy will just do an insane amount of damage, this could be the end, or at least the beginning of the end.
Right now, I think that there is something that I always used to say is whenever it is their game, you cannot give your back to the other team because right now, any mistake can cost you the game.
This could be a mistake here. Too easy for Lexi. There's the penalty zone. They're going to find it. Netherrealm already going to be used as well. Soul can't get away from Stormy as he gets the double. And now they're ready, full force. They might not even wait for the Lord here. Team SMG with a massive lead. I set on the top lane.
Well, Sasa moves all the way up there, so they're not going to be brute forcing it just yet. They're going to bring in 2 waves at the same time, more or less right here. That is the right way to try and mount an aggression to end the game. But look at Saksa coming in alone.
Saksa going to push them back. Jack is trying to heal up. There's the kick from Miko. Cammy goes down. Another body going to drop. And this could be it. Team SMG trying to push in. Jasmine trying to buy some time. He does well for now. Lord making his way. Soul able to find one. Smooth chasing him down. It's Stormy working on the crystal. And they can't stop him.
It is the first game happening here. Team SMG takes it back home. The first game goes for Team SMG. They have done it. They have made it. Consistency always beats talent. And right now, they have consistency. And right now, they have the talent. And right now, they have the first point of this match.
It is match point definitely for SMG, showing why they are absolutely the favorites and showing that they can come back from an insane early game loss. And Nightmare is back to the drawing board for them. It was looking so good for them, but unfortunately it wasn't enough.
Tough game there. Again, it looked like it would be, you know, somewhat even for the most part. That early game was going well for Niightmare Esports. They had great, actually, composition. You know, I loved what they had, and when they tried to get the combination off, with the implosion, with the sandstorm, with the blazing duet, it would have worked great, but unfortunately, it just wasn't enough. They got too far behind, and they weren't able to catch back up there.
They couldn't make it throughout the game. They couldn't make it until the end. Team Niightmare have fell down to the momentum of Team SMG. Team SMG used every opportunity possible to get the best use out of the game, and they have got the first point, and it might be a match point for Team SMG.
It's definitely one more game to go right here. Unless, of course, Team Niightmare can adjust. Because, like you mentioned, Naisu, it was looking so good in the early game. But I think the mid-game, where things are a bit more random, where things aren't always, default, right? Laning phase, everyone goes to their lanes, does their job, that's great. But the mid-game is a bit more adjustable. And I think that's where Team SMG showed a difference in experience, and they're able to actually outmaneuver the members of Team Niightmare. Even though they were losing in kills, they were still able to get towers. They're still able to get a farm advantage. And I think overall, when that's the case, throughout the whole game, eventually the goal difference is gonna look pretty significant.
Yeah, it was significant, and at the same time, one of the things that you can see there from that game is they really could not solve the issue of how can they get past Miko. When we were comparing earlier the two roamers here, for example, that's the thing. Miko just had a better time zoning out who he had to be. He got the right targets, which allowed the snowball to happen much quicker, and it just was difficult, at that point, for them to really find an answer. A lot of times, even too easy for Lexi, couldn't get close enough to the objective because of the fact that Miko was planting himself right there. So those are some things that Niightmare Esports can actually learn from and kind of adjust, hopefully, for game number 2.
Yeah, they had a good early game. But after the early game, everything just started to fall down. Everything just started to look bad or worse for Team Niightmare. They couldn't continue that momentum. So let's see together who is the MVP of the first match. And here we will see it after seeing that Yuzong skin. MVP of the match, Stormy from Team SMG.
A 7-0 and 6 KDA. 87% kill participation. He was just a big portion, a big problem for Team Niightmare, and it's exactly why Team SMG were able to actually get a roam lead, even though they're actually behind on gold, even though Team Niightmare are the ones aggressing, but he's always able to just clear the lane so much faster, abusing the Lilia, and in the middle of a big team fight, if he has not locked down and focused down, he can just purify and still output an insane amount of damage, which is why, even though there's a Nether Realm used from Team Niightmare, it just wasn't enough unless you can get Stormy or maybe Sasa, right? Shut down one of the big carries, and this is the result, man. The MVP of the game, definitely a well-deserved one.
You know what I loved about this? And it's not just the stats here, right? It's not just because he's 7-0 and 6. But the fact is, if you go back and look at the game, I know we're going to look at highlights here in just a second. You're going to see his placement. His placement was clutch here, Arashi.
This was really, really good. And let's take a look at some of the highlights here, brought to you by Grab Unlimited. Looking here, this is like one of the earlier fights, and you can see that there's a bit of disconnect here with how Team Niightmare really wants to approach these fights. They keep going in, not together, but one by one, and sometimes the spells don't even land in synergy. So in contrast to that, as you mentioned, Naisu, SMG really seems like they have a plan going through most of these fights, and they know who they're going to target and how they're trying to go in or out of the fight after the initial action has elapsed.
And you can call it whatever you want. The performance of Team Niightmare was really good, but the performance of Team SMG was just unforgettable. And throughout these highlights, we can see how much Team SMG was on point.
And here, look at that. I mean, they're just grouping together, and the Lilia damage, man, you just cannot ignore it. And in the previous fight, it was Sasa as well, just left up. So they have great combos, but the combos are landing on the members that Team SMG are happy to essentially give up in exchange for a winning dominant fight. And afterwards, with Sasa just getting the